Economics 101, A Child's View. The best time to teach capitalism is when a child discovers that he can make some extra money by making himself useful. But beyond giving them an allowance, you can show your kids how to enter the realm of true enterprise. For example, kids ought to have 2 bicycles, one to ride and one to rent. This way they can begin to understand the world of commerce. It really doesn't take much to be in business, it doesn't take $1 million. And what's exciting is that a child can learn the basic business principles of running a General Motors by operating a successful bicycle rental business. Here's another idea. Show children how to buy a bottle of soap for $2 and sell it for $3 right in the neighborhood. It's capitalism in action. Profits, products, and services brought to the marketplace. It's the stuff of which fortunes are made. And teach your child the advantage of being a child. Tell him that some people will buy from him just because he's a kid. Johnny goes a few doors down from your home and knocks on Mrs. Jones' door. Mrs. Jones answers. Johnny says, "Mrs. Jones, I have this bottle of soap. It's the best there is. My mother uses it, and lots of people I know wouldn't use anything else. You should really have some. It only costs $3, and since I'm your neighbor, I can take care of you. And besides, I'm just a kid. There, isn't that simple?" Here is a small example of commerce in action, capitalism at its most basic level. Mrs. Jones says, "Johnny, I appreciate your coming by. I think your product is good, but really, to be honest with you, I have lots of soap." "Let me come in and check," says Johnny, charging forward. Kids know how to overcome objections. They don't stand on ceremony. Mrs. Jones, knowing that her objections are useless, says, "Okay, I'll be a customer." Johnny rushes home excited. He says, "I've got $3 to spend." If you spend all $3, you remind him, you'll be out of business. "Oh," sighs Johnny, a bit disappointed. "I see what you mean." You go on to explain, first, you must set aside $2 to invest in another bottle of soap. You must not spend your capital. Capital must be carefully preserved. What would you think of a farmer who ate his seed corn? Dumb farmer, right? So capital, which is known as seed money, must be defended. It's your only chance for another harvest. Johnny can't argue with your explanation, so after considering the matter, he says, "Okay, I'll set aside the $2 so I can stay in business and continue to make a $1 profit. But I do get to spend a $1 profit, don't I?" Now comes your opportunity to show Johnny the difference between staying poor and becoming rich. You explain, if you spend all your profit, you'll wind up broke and unhappy. Johnny doesn't understand. So you take him to the poorest neighborhood in town and you ask him, "Do you want to live like this?" "No." "All right then. You can't spend the whole $1. Then what do I do with it?" "First, you must pay your taxes. And for kids this is easy. They pay when they spend unless they start making serious money, in which case you must teach them about federal taxes. Remember the goose and its eggs." Next, you remind Johnny of the need for charity. Johnny remembers. "Oh yes, here is 10 cents for those who cannot help themselves. Now can I spend the rest?" "No, no," you reply. "You'll still wind up broke and just a little less unhappy." Okay, what now?" Johnny is becoming impatient. "The next 10 cents out of your $1 profit is for the increase of your capital. If you keep setting aside 10 cents for every $1 you make, you'll someday have enough to buy 2 bottles of soap instead of 1. "Oh, sure." Now Johnny is really catching on. "If I can buy 2 bottles instead of 1, I save myself a trip and sell more bottles. How clever." Next, you explain that some companies will charge you less per bottle when you buy 2. If they sell 1 bottle for $2, they might sell 2 bottles for $3.80. Johnny is excited. Wow, he exclaims. When I sell it I can even make more profit. And it's true. Everybody benefits from the increase in capital. The company gets to sell 2 bottles at a time, Johnny saves a trip and some costs, and he can keep some of the savings or pass them on to Mrs. Jones as an incentive to buy 2 bottles instead of 1. Johnny says, "Hey, this is neat. Now do I get to spend the rest of my profit?" "No, we still need to do one more thing. We're going to rent your money to the bank." "How does that work?" "So you explain. Out of your profit you need to take out 10 cents and put it into a financial institution, like a bank. They are going to pay you a fee for renting your money. They call it interest. Why would a bank want to do this? Because some projects, like building a tall building or a factory, take more capital than any individual has. So we have a system where all of us can invest our money in a bank so that the bank has enough money to lend for big projects. This helps create more jobs, and that helps everyone. In the meantime, the bank will pay you for the use of your money." "What kind of interest do they pay kids?" "The same as they pay adults." Johnny has a hard time believing this. "You mean I get the interest of an adult when I'm only a kid?" he asks incredulously. "That's right. Your money can grow as quickly as anyone else's." "Can I get my money back?" "Sure, and you'll always get more than you put in." "Hey, that's pretty good. Now can I spend what's left?" "Yes, Johnny, let's go out and have some ice cream." I bet you probably knew all of this. But when I met Mr. Shoaff at age 25, I was just as naive as Johnny. I wonder how many adults were never taught how they can have a wealth plan. If you have children, be sure to explain to them the wealth plan. Show them that if they start using the 70/30 formula while they're young, they will become financially independent at age 40. They could, then, spend the rest of their lives doing only what they want to do. Let me give you the definition of rich and poor. Poor people spend their money and save what's left. Rich people save their money and spend what's left. It's the same amount of money, just a different philosophy. 20 years ago, 2 people each earned $1,000 a month and they each earned the same increases over the years. One had the philosophy of spending money and saving what's left, the other had the philosophy of saving first and spending what's left. Today, if you knew them both, you'd call one poor and the other wealthy. But saving, like any form of discipline, has a subtle effect. At the end of a day, a week, or a month, the results are hardly noticeable. But let 5 years lapse, and the differences become pronounced. At the end of 10 years, the differences are dramatic. Here's a great philosophy that we can learn from a lowly member of the animal kingdom. It's called the ant philosophy. You know the ants. There's a biblical phrase that urges everyone, especially lazy people, to study ants. Ants are unique for 2 reasons. First, an ant will never quit. If it's headed somewhere and you put an obstacle in its way, it will either try to climb over it or go under or around it. If you remove the obstacle, away it goes. And if you put another obstacle in its way, the ant will look for a way over, under, or around. How long will an ant keep trying? Until it dies. An ant will never quit. What a lesson. The second reason ants are unique? Guess what ants plan for all summer? That's right, winter. And how much will an ant gather in the summer to prepare for winter? All it can. How intelligent. Do you remember the fable about the grasshopper? He laughed at the ant for storing grain all summer, while he kept leaping about the high grass without a care about the future. When the harsh winter came, he starved to death while the ant had plenty. Rich or poor, the difference is not so much in how much you make, as it is in how you use what you make. The choice is yours.